you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Well, welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on Broadway World or over here on the Broadway Podcast Network. I was in New York and I saw an amazing show. I love Rent, and I was Roger in Rent, and I said 92% of the words right in Rent. The other 8%, there's a lot of words in that show. And I love Tick Tick Boom, and I love everything about our next guest. And her husband was here not too long ago, and we are just fans of this whole family and their experience. And I can sing music that's created by Joe and Lauren for days because they know what they're doing. And now she's honoring someone else that the theater world loves and adores, which is all things Jonathan Larson and Jonathan Larson Project, which you need to get your tickets. And Lauren has been with this for a minute and has a personal relationship to all of this too. So I'm so excited Lauren is here. Lauren Marcus, welcome to the show.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I'm so excited to talk. You can sing your face off.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. It's a funny thing to say. I think I react strange. I'm going right in. Ready?
Go in.
I think I react strangely to that because I think a lot of times within musical theater land, I'm known much more as an actor who sings. I don't really have the type of voice that's like very popular right now that God, I wish I did. But what's so cool about this show is I actually get to sing the way I can sing. And so it's new to hear that. And people seem to be saying that. And it makes me feel nice. So thank you.
Do you feel that pressure? Do you feel like you have to fit in a musical theater box?
Oh, yes.
No, Lauren?
Yes. I think there's something that's just really popular right now that, again, I am jealous of. Like, I cannot do this, is like the big belt, the loud high belt, sort of like an American Idol pop type of voice. And that's never something I could do. I didn't even learn how to belt until I was 31. So like I was a late bloomer in that regard. And it's been a challenge. And sometimes I joke that I've invented my own way of singing as I've like learned to belt and what works for me. I'm definitely a soprano. So it's been a crazy, crazy road down this musical theater.
But I hear you because you are a songwriter. Like you're a songwriter. You're an artist. Not that musical theater, but I mean, you're writing and creating and doing concerts.
Yeah. I think a lot of that it started because I wasn't, I thought, that's me. I thought I was going to leave college and be like a musical theater superstar, as most musical theater grads who don't, who are new to the biz, they should. Also, you should, because the confidence is the only thing that like lets you keep going. But it did not happen that way. And so I started writing, which had always been a passion of mine, but more in an effort to do things my way and to be like, this is how I can sing. This is how I like how I sound. These are the things I want to say. And it's been actually the biggest gift. I never saw that side of my artistry. Wow. I think I hate saying that, but I never saw it coming.
I loved it. I think it's so apropos and so true. And then look, for all of that insecurity and doubt, which we all have as artists, especially when we're young, Broadway has come, movies have come, work has come, residency singing has come. You worked.
I think I've created work. I've made really good friends. And I think it's the truest thing. It's like, if you have one person who believes in you, that's it. That's what you need. It's like, if you can kind of weather the storm and keep going, the opportunities will show up. They might not be constant. It might not be every day, but they'll show up and they'll be better because they'll be with people you care about and love.
I love that. That's beautiful. So how did you come to we're talking about the Jonathan Larson Project, everybody. And while we're talking about the Jonathan Larson Project, I would love everybody to please go to the website, buy your tickets, see the show, because you got a bunch of people up here who also can sing their face off. You can go to the JonathanLarsonProject.com and get your tickets while the show is running. It's open, it's off Broadway, and it's a night. So how did this show come to you? I know you have experience with his work.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is I didn't before the Jonathan Larson Project. So I'll tell you. So Jen Tepper, a good friend, collaborator, she was the conceiver of the Jonathan Larson Project, which originally started as a concert in 2018 that we performed at 54 Below for, I think, 12 performances. So she had spent years going through like boxes of his work that was in a museum in DC. And she kind of picked her favorite tunes that she wanted to see presented. And I think showed like the biggest scope of what we didn't know he'd written. And she cast that herself. And I think she did an excellent job of matching performer with material. Andy Mientis, who is in the show with me right now, he also was a part of those 54 Below concerts. So we did that run of them. And then what is so weird is I knew that Tick, Tick, Boom, the movie was being cast. And there was one teeny tiny part that is essentially the character of a woman. Her name's Donna in the movie, but Victoria Leacock Hoffman, who's a very close friend and collaborator of Jonathan's. And I'd met her and gotten to know her, and she's so lovely during the Jonathan Larson Project, because his family and friends had been around for that whole run. And I was like, I could do that. Like a few lines. I know this woman. I know I could do that. So I reached out to one of the producers, Julie O, really, really nice, smart woman who had also seen the concerts and asked to audition. And that's kind of how I got my shot with that. It's just so funny because I don't think I'm ever going to be in Rent. You know what I mean? I don't think I have that type of voice necessarily. So maybe I'm being a total asshole to myself. I don't know. But I just didn't see Jonathan Larson's work being sort of in my world. And then this whole world opened up because somebody found all these things he'd written that we didn't know about. He wrote charactery soprano songs. He wrote pastiche songs. And then because of that, Tick, Tick, Boom happened. And then several years later, now we're doing the show. You just never know. You never know how life is going to unfold. You don't.
And you get to sing some of these hidden treasures that you don't know exist.
Oh my God. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to do anything this good in my life. Ever. Yeah.
It's such a beautiful show, and his story and the legacy that he leaves. And everyone of a certain age, my age, I'm 42, everyone of a certain age remembers when Rent came out, and the Juggernaut and the folk tale and the fable and the whole story of the whole thing. But now to hear it and put it together and hear the songs you know and songs you've never heard before, it's really special.
It's moving. I just think the songs, like, they sound as cooler than most of the things I get like asked to do readings of. It sounds more contemporary. Even the stuff that you might consider dated because it's like a 90s pop song, I'm sorry, it still sounds really cool. Like it feels very contemporary. And certainly the things he was saying back in the 80s and 90s feel very eerily applicable to today politically. Like it's wild.
Everything old is truly new again. And shout out to Jen, who lets your husband and y'all destroy her venue every single year with your epic runs. And so
she does. God bless her. We do a Christmas show every year. I'm in it, but it's Joe's show. Like he is running the ship there, and he brings in like 60 to 90 people, and we take over the space, and they're so nice and let us. We use every inch of that cabaret club.
There are people they'll be on your table, literally, like they're everywhere.
I go on tables. Yeah.
See? Speaking of, your inspiration, your Broadway, we talk about Be More Chill. We talk about the work that you've done. We talk about the work you've done with Joe, and we're trying to be honest, everybody, and you Broadway people, and you and Hunter Thompson musical that you guys all did, and all the work that you do. What's it like when you do a show about a creative, and you are a creative, and you live with a creative, and how does the inspiration of Jonathan Larson lead into your home and your artistry as a family?
I think everyone might roll their eyes because, well, first of all, when Joe came to the concerts in 2018 and he hadn't been part of the process, he came and I'm going to cry. He wept through everyone. He was sitting in front row, mouthing the words like a groupie by the end of we joked that he would be the swing. He was just so moved by the work and by the writer and the man and his story, but also just mainly by his writing. It's so good, and he was so prolific. So he was more than invested when we found out that I was going to be doing this run of it. We discuss it too much. We talk about it all the time. We both feel it way too hard, and that is the truth. We're not cool about it. Nobody is like, oh, it's just a show. We're like, this is life. This is not cool. This
is because you're both writers, and Jonathan Larson as a writer and what you're doing and his journey and the Tick Tick Boom, the whole story about like failing and keeping going and breaking your heart, making
the agent scene is that's the best part of the whole movie. It's heartbreaking, and that's what it is. Why am I so emotional today? That's what it is to do this. You just have to be prepared for everything to go to the worst version of itself, and then to like dust yourself off and just start again.
You keep going. While we're talking, everybody, you can follow Lauren on Instagram as well, and click the link, and then you can see the music and the dates and the concerts, and get tickets to see the Jonathan Larson Project as well. Do you? I wish I had $1 every time you've heard Michael in the Bathroom. That's all I want to say, because I'd retire.
I don't even know. I mean, all the shows except for 2 weeks off Broadway, I was out because I sprained my ankle. A lot. I couldn't
in the house, everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite thing, I haven't thought about this in a long time, was at one point, it would just get to the point where we'd be hearing it. I feel like this was maybe in off Broadway. This feels familiar. You could hear like other people on mic when they weren't on mic. I don't know how to explain it, but everybody would sing in harmony at the end of Michael in the Bathroom. So you would hear like 8 cast members singing 8 harmonies, and it was very fun.
I love it. You all have worked. So and speaking of work, can you tell us a little bit about the cast? You have some woof. Tell us about the Jonathan Larson Project cast.
The cast is stupid. So Andy Mientis is returning from the concert version. He has one of the best voices I've ever heard in my damn life. Like him and Taylor, truly, sometimes they'll be like, I'm feeling a little under, and it never sounds less than full out and perfect. It's like I almost challenge them, you know what I mean, to not sound that way. So Andy is returning. Taylor Iman Jones, who I didn't know personally before this, one of the best voices I've ever heard in my entire life. Jason Tam, truly one of the most talented, selfless, funny, and like beautiful people on a stage. And I don't just mean physically. I mean, like, you see his soul in a weird way up there. And then Adam, who Chandler Barat, who I also didn't know before this, who I think is my new soulmate. I kind of like, we met and I was like, it's me, but a different version. Like, maybe my soulmate in neuroses. And he's just, oh God, he's such a nuanced, gorgeous actor. And then our covers, Jesse Hooker Bailey and Gilbert Bailey, who are also married. And they're amazing. They both went on our first week. They went on, I think, 2 performances together because we had 2 people out, and they killed it. They're so great. Yeah.
You really have to check it out. It's an undertaking. The show is an undertaking.
It is. It's like you hear 90 minutes and you're kind of like, oh yeah. I wasn't vocally, I was not quite expecting. Even now, like I'm talking, I got a laryngeal massage today. Oops, I hope I didn't flash everyone. Like I wasn't quite expecting it to be so demanding, but there's only 5 of us. We sing a lot. We all have about 2 to 3 solos of big numbers, and then I don't know, like half the score, we're supporting each other and singing backup. It's a lot in addition to out there and moving, and it's a big sing.
Yeah. Big sing.
Yeah.
Anything Jonathan Larson is a big sing.
It's a big sing. And a lot of words, like you said, which I love, but oh my God. Yeah.
Well, it's funny, not that this is anything about me, but my first audition for a Broadway show, when I got called in at 18 to be a replacement in Rent, to be Roger, and had to sing One Song Glory, pre-YouTube, pre-print the lyrics, back in 1998.
Whoa, how'd it go?
Terrible. I changed my major in college the next day. I thought it was I was like, I will never do this. I'm not ready. I can't do it. And 10 years later, a production was done. And I went in, I was like, and they called me in and I said, I'm not going to any part but Roger. And the callback was for Roger. And I booked Roger. And it was almost like, for me, the show means so much to me because it bookended my fear and having to face the fear. And I think something about his work, no matter what show you do, will change you as a person. His words, his story. That's
why his work is so enduring. I mean, I always say he was a writer who wore his heart on his sleeve. It's impossible. You really have to have a heart made of stone to not let it touch you in some way. I can't, I don't understand how you can sing this and not be affected by any of it.
I was validated because Adam Pascal came on this show and said he kept the words to One Song Gloria on the stage. So there we go. So I felt like I was vindicated.
Listen, I was having panic attacks until recently with one of my songs in the show, and I've been singing it for 6 years. So yeah.
How do you describe the creative process when people see the show? That you mix up the stuff that you know, if you're a musical theater Rent head or you're a Tick Tick Boom fan, and the stuff that you know that's already been out, and how does it weave together so that you're going to go in there and hear stuff you know and new stuff?
I always joke that I think people secretly think, even though they know it's not Rent, that they're secretly going to think they're going to go see Rent. You know what I mean? And look, there's a song that he kept trying to put into Rent. It was Daphne Rubin Vega's actually her callback song, and she sang it as Mimi, and it got cut from the show. There are a few songs that are definitely Rent-like and reminiscent, which is a fun way in for people who already love that show. And then there are songs that you would never suspect would be written by Jonathan Larson. I joke sometimes that I think I have the weirdo track. I have a couple of those songs. Like I have a very pastiche song to start, and you're like, what? And then I have this 7-minute Sondheimian crazy song.
Oh yes.
That is, it's like a soprano-y, character-y patter Sondheim song that also requires vocally a lot of singing. You know, it's not just talking patter. Like, and I don't think either of those would be songs people would peg as a Jonathan Larson song. So I would be interested if I didn't know the show, because it's like, what else did this man do? What else was in his scope? Like, what did we miss out on hearing potentially?
Yeah, you're not just going to rock and roll your way through 90 minutes. There's some real colors and movement.
Oh no, you're going to sit and lean into some acting as well.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Or I don't know what you're doing there. So.
Absolutely right. So you know you're interesting. Your career is amazing because, like I said, your concerts in New York were a thing, are a thing, and were a thing, and sold out.
On it, but yeah, sometimes are a thing.
I was gonna say we're ready for you to do another residency and be back out here. Well, when you're done with this whole little,
I would love that, and I'm actually sitting on an entire album that I have to release, which is a whole other story, and I need help. But yes, would love to get another run of shows and release that album ASAP.
And that's going to happen. And then your journey, like you're a lot of students. I'm a teacher. A lot of students watch all this, and your journey, like you went to fancy schools. You went to school in Europe.
I did. I went to Scotland for a year just for straight acting, and that was cool. I mean, I had a good time. I did Shakespeare there. I wanted to concentrating specifically on acting. And also, I would be completely lying if I didn't tell you. So Joe and I have known each other a long time. We've dated. We've broken up for like 3-4 years in there. I would be lying if I didn't say part of it was like, I have to get out of the city. I can't be near Joe Iconis. And so I kind of wanted to study acting and wanted to be out of the city. So I went away. You know what I mean?
And did you learn, because one of the hardest things I think in the world is to learn how to act. And then another thing is to learn how to sing. And then the hardest thing is to put those two things together and do musical theater.
Well, I think that I've always been an actor first. And I wanted to go sharpen those skills for sure. Again, because I don't have a voice that I think is considered, I think it's been called unique a lot. And I feel like because of that, maybe it's just been an insecurity of mine, but I've really glommed on to the acting side of things and known that is going to be my specific track. That'll be the thing for me that kind of makes my storytelling through song stand out. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I feel like while developing both, it's almost like the acting has been the heart of it for me.
Well, buy a ticket, everybody, and or listen to her album, and you could hear that she can sing, and then she'll go there and she'll make you know that she can act as well.
Because you want to feel something, you know, you want people to feel something when you're singing a song, and yeah.
Well, we're fans, and we're fans of the whole experience that you have in your house. We love all of the work that's done. This show, I went with my friend Mike, who's been around. He had the VHS bootleg Rent that was like someone recorded with a camcorder in his pocket back in the day.
Did he have a good time?
He had the best time
That makes me happy. It's funny because a couple people like Jason and Andy at the top of my head were Rent heads. Like they know every single word. And I was very late to the Rent game, actually, when I was younger. So I don't think I'm ever going to be able to catch up unless I take a year off of my life and like abandon my child and decide that this is what I'm going to do. And I love it. I just was late to it. So I'm not like a diehard. So it's fascinating to me the people who are, but their reactions have been really lovely.
Beautiful. He loved it. With tears in eyes and nostalgia and a whole nother.
That makes me so happy.
That's the point. So when you come to New York, everybody, or if you're in New York and you're looking for something to do this weekend, next weekend, on a Tuesday night, whenever you are out and about,
come on in.
Come on in. All you got to do is go get your tickets. Go to the JonathanLarsonProject.com.
We have Monday shows too.
Oh, that's right. You have a show now. You got to go do a show.
I got a show tonight. Yeah.
Lauren, I'm exhausted. You have a baby and a husband.
Yeah, I got a lot going on. But look, I'm like combining everything. I'm like,
good,
doing my vocalies, you know.
Well, we're gonna follow you, and we're gonna stay up to date because she's got an album in the works that's already done. She's got more things coming down the pipe. You know, and we're just gonna keep rooting and cheering for you.
Thank you.
Please send love to Joe. Please send love to your beautiful cast.
I will.
And please have the best time singing this music and keeping this legacy alive.
I am. I can assure you, I do not take a minute of it for granted. I'm loving it. So.
Thank you so much. You're so fun. You have the cutest, sweetest personality. Like your energy just bounces.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This is fun.